The Trimmed Lamp by OHenry. I am your narrator. Of course, there are two sides to the question. Let us look at the other. We often hear shop girls spoken of. No such person exists. There are girls who work in shops. They make their living that way. But why turn their occupation into an adjective? Let us be fair. We do not refer to the girls who live on Fifth Avenue as marriage girls. Lou and Nancy were chums. They came to the big city to find work because there was not enough to eat at their homes to go around. Nancy was 19. Lou was 20. Both were pretty, active country girls who had no ambition to go on the stage. The little cherub that sits up aloft guided them to a cheap and respectable boarding house. Both found positions and became wage earners. They remained chums. It is at the end of 6 months that I beg you to step forward and be introduced to them, meddlesome reader. My lady friends, Miss Nancy and Miss Lou. While you are shaking hands, please take notice, cautiously, of their attire. Yes, cautiously, for they are as quick to resent a stare as a lady in a box at the horse show is. Lou is a piecework ironer in a hand laundry. She is clothed in a badly fitting purple dress, and her hat plume is 4 inches too long. But her ermine muff and scarf cost $25, and its fellow beasts will be ticketed in the windows at $7.98 before the season is over. Her cheeks are pink, and her light blue eyes bright. Contentment radiates from her. Nancy, you would call a shop girl, because you have the habit. There is no type, but a perverse generation is always seeking a type. So this is what the type should be. She has the high-ratted pompadour and the exaggerated straight front. Her skirt is shoddy, but has the correct flare. No furs protect her against the bitter spring air, but she wears her short, broadcloth jacket as jauntily as though it were Persian lamb. On her face and in her eyes, remorseless type seeker, is the typical shop girl expression. It is a look of silent but contemptuous revolt against cheated womanhood, of sad prophecy of the vengeance to come. When she laughs her loudest, the look is still there. The same look can be seen in the eyes of Russian peasants, and those of us left will see it someday on Gabriel's face when he comes to blow us up. It is a look that should wither and abash man, but he has been known to smirk at it and offer flowers with a string tied to them. Now lift your hat and come away while you receive Lou's cheery "See you again," and the sardonic, sweet smile of Nancy that seems, somehow, to miss you and go fluttering like a white moth over the housetops to the stars. The two waited on the corner for Dan. Dan was Lou's steady company. Faithful? Well, he was on hand when Mary would have had to hire a dozen subpoena servers to find her lamb. "Ain't you cold, Nance?" said Lou. "Say, what a chump you are for working in that old store for $8 a week. I made $18.50 last week. Of course, ironing ain't swell work as selling lace behind a counter, but it pays. None of us ironers make less than $10. And I don't know that it's any less respectful work either." "You can have it," said Nancy with uplifted nose. "I'll take my 8 a week and whole bedroom. I like to be among nice things and swell people. And look what a chance I've got. Why, one of our glove girls married a Pittsburgh steelmaker or blacksmith or something the other day. He's worth $1 million. I'll catch a swell myself sometime. I ain't bragging on my looks or anything, but I'll take my chances where there's big prizes offered. What show would a girl have in a laundry?" "Why, that's where I met Dan," said Lou triumphantly. "He came in for his Sunday shirt and collars and saw me at the first board ironing. We all try to work at the first board. Ella Manginnis was sick that day, and I had her place. He said he first noticed my arms, how round and white they was. I had my sleeves rolled up. Some nice fellas come into laundries. You can tell them by their bringing their clothes in suitcases and turning in the door sharp and sudden. How can you wear a waist like that, Lou?" said Nancy, gazing down at the offending article with sweet scorn in her heavy-lidded eyes. "It shows fierce taste." "This waist?" cried Lou with wide-eyed indignation. "Why, I paid $16 for this waist. It's worth $25. A woman left it to be laundered and never called for it. The boss sold it to me. It's got yards and yards of hand embroidery on it. Better talk about that ugly plain thing you've got on." "This ugly plain thing," said Nancy calmly, "was copied from one that Mrs. Van Alstine Fisher was wearing. The girls say her bill in the store last year was $12,000. I made mine myself. It cost me $1.50. 10 feet away, you couldn't tell it from hers." "Oh well," said Lou good-naturedly. "If you want to starve and put on airs, go ahead. But I'll take my job and good wages, and after hours give me something as fancy and attractive to wear as I'm able to buy." But just then Dan came, a serious young man with a ready-made necktie, who had escaped the city's brand of frivolity, an electrician earning $30 per week, who looked upon Lou with the sad eyes of Romeo and thought her embroidered waist a web in which any fly should delight to be caught. My friend, Mr. Owens. Shake hands with Miss Danforth, said Lou. I'm mighty glad to know you, Miss Danforth, said Dan, with outstretched hand. I've heard Lou speak of you so often. Thanks, said Nancy, touching his fingers with the tips of her cool ones. I've heard her mention you a few times. Lou giggled. Did you get that handshake from Mrs. Van Alstyne Fisher, Nance? She asked. If I did, you can feel safe in copying it, said Nancy. Oh, I couldn't use it at all. It's too stylish for me. It's intended to set off diamond rings, that high shake is. Wait till I get a few and then I'll try. Learn it first, said Nancy wisely, and you'll be more likely to get the rings. Now, to settle this argument, said Dan, with his ready, cheerful smile, let me make you a proposition. As I can't take both of you up to Tiffany's and do the right thing, what do you say to a little vaudeville? I've got the tickets. How about looking at the stage diamonds, since we can't shake hands with the real sparklers? The faithful squire took his place close to the curb. Lou next, a little peacocky in her bright and pretty clothes. Nancy on the inside, slender and soberly clothed as the sparrow, but with true Van Alstyne Fisher walk. Thus, they set out for their evening's moderate diversion. I do not suppose that many would look upon a great department store as an educational institution, but the one in which Nancy worked was something like that to her. She was surrounded by beautiful things that breathed of taste and refinement. If you live in an atmosphere of luxury, luxury is yours, whether your money pays for it or another's. The people she served were mostly women whose dress, manners, and position in the social world were quoted as criterions. From them, Nancy began to take toll, the best from each according to her view. From one, she would copy and practice a gesture. From another, an eloquent lifting of an eyebrow. From others, a manner of walking, of carrying a purse, of smiling, of greeting a friend, of addressing inferiors in station. From her best beloved model, Mrs. Van Alstyne Fisher, she made requisition for that excellent thing, a soft, low voice, as clear as silver and as perfect in articulation as the notes of a thrush. Suffused in the aura of this high social refinement and good breeding, it was impossible for her to escape a deeper effect of it. As good habits are said to be better than good principles, so, perhaps, good manners are better than good habits. The teachings of your parents may not keep alive your New England conscience, but if you sit on a straight-backed chair and repeat the words prisms and pilgrims 40 times, the devil will flee from you. and when Nancy spoke in the Van Alstyne Fisher tones, she felt the thrill of noblesse oblige to her very bones.